It's book haul time. I have never done one of these. I've never went to a bookstore, bought books, came back and put a video up on the YouTubes talking about the books that I bought, but I thought it'd be fun because I just got a bunch of books the other day at the bookstore, and most of these fall into the science fiction, fantasy, a little bit of horror in here category of stuff that I usually like to read. So we're going to run through it real quick and just give you a touch of what I bought, a little summary of what I think about these novels, and where I'll get, I don't know. I was going to say when I'll get to them, but I don't think I'll ever get to them. My bookshelf is already just chock full. You saw my video about my big book summer, my small book summer. I'm very behind on both of those lists. And so these are just a bunch more to add. And as I told the guy at the bookstore, I'm not really going to read these. I'm just going to collect them. And that's kind of what it's become. So at some point I'll have a bunch of time, maybe, and I'll read these. But until that comes, we're just collecting. So we'll start off with the smaller books on this side, top of the list here. And I really maybe should have ordered these a little bit better, but this is Finders Keepers by Stephen King. So this is, I believe, the second book in the Bill Hodges trilogy. My friend Josiah, who's a big Stephen King advocate and fan, and much, much more of a in-depth reader than I am, could tell me if I'm wrong on that. But I'm looking forward to this. I like the first book, Mr. Mercedes, and to keep myself from extending this video too long, I will say a little more than that. But looking forward to reading this one and continuing on the Mr. Mercedes books. Number 2 that we got here, Salem's Lot. Now this really is just for me to collect. Not the best edition. I probably would have preferred a hardcover or like a trade paperback or something. But it's very cheap. The used bookstore that I bought these from, it's like the best bookstore in the world. The books are usually in really good condition, or if they're in really bad condition, which oftentimes I don't mind, missing covers, that sort of thing, they're extremely cheap. And they're extremely cheap in general. And I'm a big frugal spender. So if I can find a book that I like, I'm not so keen on getting a brand new edition. So all that to say, I've already read this book. It's one of my favorite Stephen King books, but I just wanted to have it because I had it years ago and I gave away like my entire collection of books. So I'm recollecting some of these. So this is just to recollect. It's fantastic. Number 3, we have this Ray Bradbury book, which I've never read or really heard from The Dust Returned. Very small, slender little guy. It's got a spider on the cover, which is actually, I don't know. I don't want to say cute because he's kind of menacing, but it's kind of a fun little animated spider. I don't know really anything about this, but I really enjoy Ray Bradbury, so I will add it to the list. The print, I just opened it up for the first time. The print is extremely large, so this will be a breeze to read through. So this maybe adds to my small book summer, and we'll see. But Ray Bradbury, always a classic. Number 4, this is, and I guess I'm going to probably show these out of order. Actually, this is not one of them. I don't really know what I was looking at. This is Speaker for the Dead by Orson Scott Card, the second book of the Ender's Game series. I have a video of my review for Ender's Game talking about it with my friend Levi. He's a big fan. He's read, I think, all of the Ender's Game books that are a part of that series written by Orson Scott Card. And I enjoyed the first one. I thought it had a lot going for it, a lot that was done very well. This is $2.99. Really good condition. I don't know what edition this is. It's author's definitive edition. So it has, I don't know. I don't really know what that means. But looking forward to reading this. I'll get to it at some point, maybe. But it's the continuation of the Ender's Game series. So this is Children of Dune by Frank Herbert, book 3 of the Dune trilogy, Dune Messiah, Children of Dune. I've read / listened to the first 2 books, read Dune years and years ago. And that, again, I gave away my entire book collection. That was like 10 years ago or something. I was moving and I just thought it'd be easier to give it away. I don't know why. There's a lot of really good stuff in there. Charity, I guess. I don't know. But I read Dune. I listened to Dune Messiah last fall. And so then Children of Dune. And this is $2.99. Really cool cover. We'll put it up there, see if we focus on it or not. This is not going to be the first printing. This is, I don't know. I think I looked at it. 1977 printing. So it was published in 1976. So this is, a year after small But yeah, looking forward to getting to this. I heard that the series just keeps getting weirder and weirder. I plan to read the first 6 books written by Frank Herbert, and then anything written by I think it's Kevin Anderson and Brian Herbert, Frank's son. I don't plan to read any of those unless I get through book 6 and I'm like, wow, this is the best series of all time, and I want to keep going. But I don't really foresee that happening. So just what I've heard online, I've heard people say that it gets substantially different at best, worse at worst. So Children of Dune. The rest of these over on the small stack, these are all, I'll just do it without ceremony. These are all the next in the Dune books. So they had Dune and they had Dune Messiah, but I didn't buy them because I've already read them. And if I don't really enjoy these, I could just give these away or sell them back to the bookstore or something. And I don't exactly know what order these are. And actually from the back, I can't even tell which books they are because they all have basically the same back. But it's clearly like the same collection, you know, Chapter House Dune, Heretics of Dune, and this is God Emperor. I think this is book 4. We'll find out when we get to reading them. I'm going to stack them kind of in this cool way like this. So looking forward to getting to the Dune books. Not really sure when. I think they'll read relatively quick. Dune Messiah was, I listened to it on audiobook, but it was pretty quick. So not that speed is the most important thing, but I've just got a lot to read. So we'll get to these at some point. Classics, you know, basically everything in science fiction can to some degree point back to Dune. It's like the forefather of a lot of the stuff that we have. So getting to the bigger books over here on this side, we're going to start at the top. This is, I don't know, this is like the most abstract of all of these, maybe. I'm not really sure how to say it, but this is The Long Patrol by Brian Jacques, or Jakes. I'm probably messing that up. I've read every single one of these except for, I think, like the last 2 of the books. I read them when I was younger. I just loved every single one of them. The bookstore had a few of these. I think it had this one, and then it had Eulalia without the dust cover, which was fine. I think it was maybe a couple dollars. This is $4.95, so $5. Really good edition. The Long Patrol, I love The Long Patrol. Eulalia, Raggedy Tam is really good. That's about the squirrel. But any of the ones about the rabbits, which in the original Redwall book, Basil Staghair is like the guy from, he's like the rabbit, I don't know, emissary. He's the representative of the rabbits in that story. And then as the world expands and you get beyond just Redwall Abbey, everything, you know, there's more, and there's otters and there's badgers and all that stuff. So this one, I will, I don't know why I was turned like that for so long. I'm looking forward to rereading this series at some point. I really should. I've been like slowly collecting them since I've started this YouTube channel. And at some point I'll maybe have all of the books. And I think that they're really entertaining, really good. The world is really fun. And at some point I'll read them to my kids, hopefully. But that'll be in, you know, at the earliest, probably like 5 years before I start reading them to my kids. And not because that there's anything in them that I don't want them to read, but I think that it's, you know, certain things for certain times. I'm a big fan of Stephen King books, and even the ones that don't have any like objectionable content, I think when you're older, some of them just make more sense to read. So, and I kind of hinted at what most of these books are, I guess, by just doing that. But anyways, that's The Long Patrol by Brian Jacques, or Jacques, or Jacques. Good. Love the rabbits. I mean, you guys gotta love fantasy rabbits. Next, and these are, I guess, in slight out of order, Anthony Ryan, The Martyr and the Traitor. Might be slightly out of frame. You can look over on, maybe I don't have it up here anymore. Why do I not have it? Am I blind? Oh yeah, I am blind. I have The Pariah by Anthony Ryan. It's still got the Barnes & Noble sticker on it. This was a gift for my wife. I think I mentioned this in a video. Saying gift for my wife sounds like something that I said already in a video. Doesn't really matter, but this is the full trilogy now. So I got this one for my wife as a gift, as I just mentioned. Brand new, never opened, never read. Don't really know anything about it. And then these are books 2 and book 3. Maybe I should go like this. The Martyr and the Traitor. I don't really know anything about this, but these were both, I mean, not to brag on price and to tell you how much of a cheapskate I am, but this was $4.95, and this was same $4.95. So $5. I don't really understand how the bookstore makes money, because unless these are just all been given to the guy. But it's one of those places where I feel like I should buy them for super cheap and then just give them back to him, because it's just insane value. Like, these are really good shape. There's like a little bit of damage. It's not even, it's like a little bit of like smudging up here on the top. And they're slightly dusty from the box that I brought them home in, which is my fault, not the bookstore's fault, but they're just in really good shape. There's like hardly any like damage down in the bottoms for $5. I mean, it's just like impossible to state how good of a deal it feels like you get. So now, with all three of these in out of order, the entire trilogy of Anthony Ryan's. So we'll get to this at some point. These are chunkos, big old books. We're gonna put these out of frame, but those are, what do I have here? 4, 8, 9, 12. That's the first 12. And not a single one of these is over $5. So $60 right there for 12 books, and less, because a couple of these are like $2, $3. So anyways, moving on. This is Holly by Stephen King. This is a hardback. I believe this is the first edition. I don't know how many editions would have been released with this. I should have looked beforehand, but 2023. I mean, yeah, this has to be the first. Yeah, first Scribner hardcover edition, September 2023. So, first edition, really good condition, really good shape. Holly by Stephen King. This is like, I think this is like book 4 in the Bill Hodges series, or the Holly series, whatever you want to call it. But it is. I don't know why I just opened it like that. Really good shape, really good condition. It's like almost not been opened or used. They had another edition as well that was like slightly better shape, like it had less. Like, I mean, I don't know. There's like no damage on the edge of this dust cover, but the other one was like $1 more. I mean, that's how cheap I am, I guess, because it's just, yeah. So this, again, I've got several books to read to get to this point, to get to where I'm reading this. But Stephen King loves Holly. He's a big fan of hers. The book that he just released like a month or two ago, Never Flinch, I think is what it's called, is a Holly book. And I could be totally wrong on that. That's from my memory telling me that that's what that book is. It's another Holly Gibney book, but we'll see. So that's Holly. Again, I should say the price on this. That's what I was looking at when I opened it up. $5.95. So $6. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. This is Blaze by Stephen King as well. The rest of these are all Stephen King's. This is hardcover. This is not a original printing, I don't think. Maybe it was. This is a Richard Bachman, 2007. I don't really know how to read this. It doesn't really matter. No. Blaze is older, I think. Maybe part of me thinks I already have Blaze, because I've got just like an amalgamation of a bunch of different Stephen King books, and some of them in various states of existence. This has to be a redone. I don't know. It doesn't matter. This was in good shape and good condition, and I said the same thing twice, and it was cheap. And there was a ton of hardcover Stephen King's there. So that was Blaze. This is Bazaar of Bad Dreams by Stephen King. This is a collection. It's kind of thick. It's similar to, and it's not on my desk right now, or my shelf, I mean. Oh yeah, it is. I'm so bad at knowing what's happening in my shelf. But this is the latest collection, which is You Like It Darker. So you can see a bit of a size difference there. This was really, really good. So I'm looking forward to reading this. My friend Josiah, who I've mentioned already in this video, who is a big Stephen King fan, he loves this collection. And one of the short stories in this collection, I think he says, is like one of his favorite King stories of all time. So I'm really looking forward to getting into this, reading this, and figuring out if my friend is as reputable as he claims to be. He doesn't claim to be reputable. He just has his opinions. And usually we align a lot on the Stephen King universe. So looking forward to getting into this. The short story collections are great. King does really well in the short form from what I've read so far. Next, we have The Wind Through the Keyhole. This is another hardcover. It's a very interesting cover. You've got like this little girl with what seems to be magic, a tiger outside of a cage, the back side, which I've never looked at before until just now. It's got like dinosaurs in the water and like these weird alien creatures. I guess I'll try to get in frame, see if you can see that. This, as far as I know, and purists and constant readers can correct me if I'm wrong, but this, as far as I know, is the like book 7.5 or something of the Stephen King's Dark Tower series. I don't know why I said Stephen King's in there, but in the wind through the keyhole, Stephen King returns to the rich landscape of Midworld, the spectacular territory of the Dark Tower fantasy saga that stands as his most beguiling achievement. So, yeah, this is a part of it, and I've read the Dark Tower all the way through. I enjoy it vastly, and I've read some of the other Stephen King books that tie in. So I really like that world. So looking forward to this one. It's been on my radar for like a number of years, ever since finishing the Dark Tower, because I like it and I want to read more about it. So we'll get to that one as well. This stuff all also might be in frame, but it is what it is. Then the last chunko that I bought, Under the Dome by Stephen King. This is a brute of a novel. I mean, this is like bigger than It. The It that I have is this It, which is, not pretty at all. But it was, again, from that same used bookstore for, let's see what we got here. Oh, maybe there's no price on this one. That would be, maybe I bought it from somewhere else. Cheating on my favorite used bookstore. Yeah, there's no price on this one. So it's not in great shape. So I think it was like $4 or something. But anyway, Under the Dome, big old book. I guess it's just a lot of characters. I mean, the printing is, I guess, yeah, pretty readable, pretty big, a lot of margin space. So we'll get to this at some point. I tragically, and let me pause to look at my bookshelf. Oh yeah. Okay, so this is a steal that I thought was a steal that I got from the bookstore. It was $2.50. Okay, this is same used bookstore, and I grabbed it, and I just didn't even see this part one right there. I just was enamored by this handsome man on the back, and I thought, wow, this is cool. $2.50 Under the Dome. It's a classic. We'll throw it into the collection. And then I get home, and I'm like putting stuff on my bookshelf, and I realize this is just part one. So a bit of a misstep there. So now I have 1.5 versions, 1.5 volumes worth of Under the Dome by Stephen King, the full one and the half one. So the print on this one is actually not super small. So this, I just am assuming it's just wide margins, bigger print. But this is big. I mean, this is a door. So this weighs 50, 60 pounds probably at least. I'm obviously super strong and jacked, so that's why it looks like it doesn't weigh that much, but it's a big old boy. But that is everything that I bought at the bookstore. We'll slide all over and face it the proper way. I think if I'm doing my counting correctly, this one is not. This is my own. But this is, what is this? 5, 7, 8 plus 4. I don't know what's going to be in frame here or not. So it's like 16 books. Is that right? There we go. So 4, 8, and then another 8. So 16 novels thrown in the collection. I don't have space on my bookshelf. I have another bookshelf in another room that will fill up with all the stuff, and I don't have time to read them. But at some point we'll get time, and we will we will maybe read all these books. So that is my book haul from the last time I was at the bookstore. So thanks for following along. Let me know if you've read any of these, if you think they're worth reading, if I got good deals. I think overall, and including my wife bought a couple like kids picture books for our son, maybe spent like $2 on those. So overall, it was like $75 for all of these books, which I just think is a absolute ripping steal. I'm appreciative. I don't feel like I am taking advantage of this guy. He runs a wonderful bookstore, but really good quality stuff and really good prices. So if you want to have a step above the library, move to this town that I'm not going to tell you, and go to this bookstore that I'm also not going to tell you because I want to keep the secret to myself. But all that being said, thanks for watching. Thanks for following along. And at some point, I'll have a review of some of these books. We'll see you in the next one.